We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark. We are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today we have a returning special guest. We have Jess Antonette. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's starting to get out of this winter funk, I hope. But the way this year's going, who knows? Who really knows?
I'm over the cold, but here we are.
Right. It's one of those deals where it's just like, at least we're in places where the cold is like gone by the end of February for the most part. And then come like March 1st, it's like beautiful out. So
right. So we could take it. It's fine.
Okay. It's a lot better than growing up in Chicago, where from October 31st till about May 1st, you just never know what you're going to get. So
I know.
But it is what it is. So how's everything going? Congratulations on the new release. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Everything's going well. It's just been busy. It's been a whirlwind releasing a song, in the beginning of January. Well, mid-January actually now. But yeah, it's been going. It's been going well.
So we just mentioned it. You released a new song, Real for Me. It's actually coming up on a week here. I was just looking at it. So
Wednesday it'll be a week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up on a week here. What's kind of running through your mind on the back end of, I say back end of this release, but you've still got so much more promoting to do to kind of give it the legs. But coming up like post-release, what's running through your mind right now?
Honestly, this song has been different than any of my other releases so far, because although my other songs have also been personal to me, it's been more about like love or breakups or like cheeky songs. This one is the first time I am discussing publicly my history, my story about things that are not comfortable to talk about. So this whole thing leading up to it and then post right now, I've been doing these interviews, and it's been, I would say, not a struggle, but definitely like a learning and growth period for me.
Yeah. Like in regards of like I guess a growth or a struggle in the fact that just kind of bringing up the old memories, or like, I guess, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, because this song, Real for Me, is my anthem. It's a song for anyone who's been through anything in life. Mine personally was trauma of a few different kinds, but one was domestic violence was a big one. And it was the first time like I've ever talked about it publicly, and people were able to ask me questions, and especially in interviews, people have like wanted to know things. And, when you have tucked something away for so long and didn't want people to look at you a certain way, and you don't want to discuss things like that, then to come forward and be vulnerable, it's almost like uncharted territory. You're like, I tend to now like stutter more when I'm talking and I'm answering questions, because it's vulnerable, and it's been like a form of therapy. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a blessing. It really has been. And this is why I wanted to do the song, not just for me to get it out and it be therapeutic, but I've connected with so many people on Instagram and TikTok. People have been like sharing their stories with me. We've been just like dialoguing back and forth. It's been beautiful. And there's so many people that go through these type of topics, and you wouldn't know, people don't talk about it a lot of times. So
100%, and I think what I really appreciated about the song and just like diving into these topics is it kind of clashes against this this pseudo reality that social media kind of gives off, that everything is always perfect and everything is always like pristine and everything is what it seems to be. Whereas this song,
every single person, no matter who you see, whether they look all glammed, everyone has a story, right? And Instagram, TikTok, social media shows the highlight reels. I mean, you do have people who share everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, but it goes to show you that like anyone who's been through trauma or recovery or anything, you can't judge a book by its cover. It does not discriminate. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What was kind of the turning point of you, I guess, A, wanting to write this song, but then B, ultimately deciding to put it out?
So this has been a long time coming because for so long I didn't want to release music touching on, I mean, we wrote the song, it's true to my life, but we
Hmm.
wrote it almost a little vague so people could kind of put their own stories in it. The turning point for me was I felt like for years I was protecting people that hurt me, because some of them I have mended with. We've done the work. We've been to therapy together. We've cried it out. I mean, I mean, it's been a road and a journey.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. But for so long, it's like they didn't want me to sing about it or talk about it. They asked me not to, and I'd be like, okay. And then I realized I'm protecting their feelings, but they've hurt me. And just
Hmm.
because we've mended, and I'm grateful, and we still continue to work on our relationship, doesn't mean my truth didn't happen. And um, it's not my fault to protect those people. It is what it is. And sometimes you have to take accountability. And so I had a conversation about a year, like right before we wrote the song. So maybe like, it was it last, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before.
Hmm.
And I sat down with somebody because we weren't on speaking terms. We weren't on good terms. And I sat down and we had a conversation and I said, this is the truth. This is my truth. This is what happened. And for so long, they had been in denial. They didn't want to accept it. They were actually a witness to what happened, but sometimes being a witness is just as bad as actually doing it. And so that's what I was trying to communicate. And that's why we couldn't move forward in our relationship. And during that, the person said to me, well, you know, kids make things up and children lie and teenagers are bad. And like they were saying things that was very hurtful to hear. Cause I'm like,
Hmm.
no, no, no. I realized that was their coping mechanism.
Hmm.
Like the denial was a way to like kind of like self-preserve a little bit,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know? And then I was like, wow, they're never going to get this. I don't know why I'm fighting for validation and accountability when they're not capable of doing that because they haven't done the work, you know?
Hmm.
So I just gave up. I just was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I don't need anyone's validation. It was real. It was real for me. So then we went to have, we had a song write at my apartment. Me and Kay and Gabe sat down. They're like, what do you want to write about? And I'm like, this is what's going on in my life. And I'm a disaster. And I'm really affected by it. And they created a really safe environment for me to come and tell them, like, just dump all my stuff on them. And they're like, okay, well, that's what we're going to write about.
Nice.
And that's how it happened.
Yeah, for sure. It almost feels like these people had kind of gaslit themselves into believing that what happened didn't happen,
Yeah, that's very
and
common too.
they were trying to gaslight you into feeling the exact same way, so that, not saying that they would continue to do those things, but make you believe that it never actually happened.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that for
Mm-hmm.
a multitude of reasons. I think in this particular case, the person was doing it because it would be admitting fault on their end. And they
Mm-hmm.
really do have a good heart. And they don't realize, like, I needed someone to speak up for me and defend me. And that was their responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by admitting that, it would make them face themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of it, you stood up and spoke for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, like, realistically, that's the best way, and sometimes the only way to do it. Like, you can't always rely on other people to do it for you, especially if they were like you had mentioned, a witness to some of the
Yeah.
stuff that was going on. It's
Yeah.
like, oh well, I don't know,
Yeah.
so I'm not
Oh, I
getting
was
involved.
there. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in, I mean, there was so much proof.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, how can you not admit it? You know?
Hmm. 100%. 100%. So you started writing this song, and you said this was all happening towards the beginning of last year.
Yeah. Just the conversations that were coming up
Hmm.
with people that I was trying to mend with. and I was really living in that place. I was just in a dark place.
Mm.
Yeah, like I don't know how to explain this. I feel like I'm functioning. Like I think people think just because you've gone through abuse, whether it's spiritual, mental, physical, essay, anything, that you can't be happy too. Like I've had extreme moments of happiness. I think that I'm a naturally happy person no matter what. But it doesn't mean that I don't feel extreme pain. It doesn't mean I have some days that like I'm not a complete mess of a human.
Mhm.
There's a lot of work that goes into recovery and stuff like that. So yeah.
I, I, will- I get where you're coming from on that. So when did you start like recording and like like I guess fully commit to the idea of putting the song out?
Well, when the song was done, so we finished it, I think we finished it in one session. I
Hmm.
can't remember. And we called my aunt and we FaceTimed her. And I think Kay, the co-writer and friend of mine, I think she sang the song to my aunt on FaceTime. I was
Hmm.
like, Aunt, you got to hear this. You got to hear this song. Well, my aunt starts crying hysterically because she knows it's what it's about, who it's
Hmm.
about. She was like, that is beautiful. And like her reaction was like the validation that I needed to put it out. And so I remember teetering on it for a couple weeks, being like, I don't know if I'm ready to put it. Like, I had to be ready because I knew it was going to come with interviews and questions, and my family was going to see it, and my friends were going to see it. Like, people were going to hear this.
Hmm.
Um, I also wanted to make sure that if I decided to release a song, it wasn't going to be like, I'm a victim, which there are people are victims. It's horrible. I'm not trying to, that's not how I want to be looked at. There's nothing wrong with that, if you know. But for me, I have built a life that I'm really proud of. I've done a lot of healing. I'm still in therapy. I read a lot of books on stuff. I'm still working through stuff, but I want to be seen for how hard I've worked and not
Hmm.
the past. And so I wanted to make sure that if I released a song, it was done in the right way, that it was more of like taking my power back. Like, this is my anthem. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I, I got you. And
Did I go off on a tangent? I was like,
no, you're 100% good. You're 100% good. You know, it's I wasn't 100% sure to expect where to go with this conversation because this is all very
yeah,
hard stuff to talk about. So I'm just
yeah,
kind of like throwing out ball questions and kind of letting you go where you want to go with it. Because
yeah,
obviously, I don't want to dive in and ask too many specifics because it's not my place to ask like certain questions and whatnot. But, you know, it just kind of the thought process of like, hey, this is something that happened to me. I was
yeah,
in a very dark place or a vulnerable place or, you know, like however you want to describe it.
right.
And that was kind of the birth of this song. Now that's a conversation I want to have. And, you
Yeah,
know, so yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
dude, there's just so many people that can relate to this. And that's been the most beautiful part of it because it really doesn't have to be about physical or emotional or spiritual abuse, any abuse like that. It could be about
mhm.
anything that someone has gone through where they had a truth or a feeling and they were made to feel like invalidated, or
Mhm.
people were like, that didn't happen that way, you don't remember, where they like gaslight you. I mean, it could be like a romantic relationship where people make you feel like unseen or unheard. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
always, doesn't always have to be so intense. it's
Mhm.
it's for anyone who's experienced people telling them their reality is not real.
Mhm. For sure, for sure. So with this, are you working on a music video for it, or because I know you've got a few different music videos and lyric videos and stuff like that out?
Yeah. Actually, yes, we are. We were supposed to actually, this is the truth. We were supposed to shoot it on the 21st, the day before this song came out. And then things fell through at the venue, so we were not able to shoot it. So we're planning on shooting it this week. And the coolest
Nice.
part about it, if we can pull this all off, I wanted it to be really, really authentic. So I asked my song the co-writers to
Mhm.
come in and be in the video. I asked the producer to be in the video. And then I opened it up to whoever has experienced anything like this, whoever connects with this song. I would like them to be in the song because at the end, if you listen to the song, towards the end of it, I actually have a choir that comes in and
Mhm.
sings. And I really want it to be about uniting together. In our experiences, no matter like how similar or different they are, like coming together in this moment. So hopefully it all works out and the video hopefully will be out next month. Cross your fingers.
Nice. I always love watching your music videos. You know, I think the first one was probably Fix It that I saw.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And because
I love that one.
I know, like last time we had you on was, I don't think Grave, the lyric video for Grave was out yet because
No.
no. But
Did
yeah,
we do did we do an interview for Grave? I can't remember.
I want to say we did an interview in like September.
Oh, we could have. We could have. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I went back and looked because when you messaged me about doing something for this, I was like, let's see, let's first off make sure there's been at least a little bit of because I've been doing so many interviews. I thought
Right.
we had just done one in like November or December, and I was just like,
Right. You wanted to make sure we spaced it out. I get it.
yeah, just a little bit, but you know, it's good, you know, like getting the opportunity to listen to this song and hear your story behind it. It's like it's beautiful, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you had the willingness to share this story and write this song and put it out because I think it's like like we were talking about a little bit earlier with like the pseudo perfect life on social media. This song bashes against that, and I think it shows an authentic like real situation that
Yeah.
people can get behind. And like you'd mentioned, that you wrote it vague enough that it's like, okay, it opens the door for just about anybody to relate to it. So,
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember at the end of the day, we're all humans. Like I said before, we all have a story. And it's not to say that like me being silly and goofy isn't me, because that is 100% me,
mhm.
but there's more to me as well, you know? So Instagram and TikTok and all this, we show what we want to show, what we're comfortable
Mhm.
showing. I am willing and ready to discuss some of the stuff. I just want to be, I want to, where I find this all to be a little hard for me and tricky,
Mhm.
and I'm actually navigating it with my therapist. So this is like really, this is just funny. Is because I don't want to punish the people that are doing the work to become better people, because they are.
Mhm.
There's a couple of people who have really taken accountability and healed. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We make mistakes. We mess up.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're a product of our environment. So I don't want to persecute everybody. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah,
So
it's one of those things where it's like you recognize that certain people are making the effort to change, and
yeah.
it's like that there's a soft spot there where it's like, okay, well, they're actually trying to change, so I don't want to.
Well, yeah. I mean, and also that was after 10 years of me not speaking to these people.
Hmm.
Like there was a long time of like anger and hatred and like all this stuff that kept me bound for
Hmm.
so long. So when I was ready, I was able to have those conversations, and I could see that over those years they know what they had done, and like it's been good. It's
Hmm.
definitely been healing. I know that's not everyone's experience, but it's
Right,
not that they weren't, it's not like we were like best friends, you know. Like I
yeah,
didn't speak to them for a very long time. So
right, yeah. You know, it's just like I 100% get where you're coming from with it. So I'm glad that you're still talking about it, but you're not airing out airing out too much of the dirty laundry, if that makes sense.
yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't want to hinder anyone's healing journey, you
hmm.
know, because it's a lot. I'm definitely, I do have a book. I don't know if I'll ever release it, but it was started off as my therapy journal. And then when I was reading it to my therapist over like the year, she was like, this is interesting. She's like, you should release this book. It's juicy. But you know, you never know. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm doing one stage at a time.
Right, right. It's one of those things where it's like there's so much that goes into a lot of it, and like just you brought up the a book, and in the back of my head, it's like I kind of want to read that book.
Yeah, I know. I was honestly, I've been doing little snippets of stuff like on my Instagram subscriber. You know, you can like subscribe.
Yeah,
And I've been telling them, I'm like, I'm going to read excerpts from this book that I've written. Subscribe because I'm
nice.
like trying to test the waters.
Right.
But that's a whole other undertaking. I'm just a musician for now.
Hey, I 100% get it.
Yeah.
So now that you're coming up on a week post release, What's kind of the plans moving forward? Obviously, promoting this till you're blue in the face and all that.
Promoting it till I'm blue in the face, trying to, spread awareness about it's never too late to get help. It's never too late to recover and learn how to cope. It's never, I'm trying to do my best to do all the things. Just also be a good friend. I've had a lot of people message me about their own experiences that we had never discussed, and I've had dinner with these people. So, this has just been a completely different release. So yeah, of course, like promoting the single. I really want to work with some different charities. I want to go speak to some young girls, guys, everybody and anyone, and kind of show them like, I'm just one of a gajillion examples that like you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can change, and you're not going to be perfect ever. Like I mess up every single day. It's just it's a journey. It's my favorite word. It's a journey.
Yeah. Now, to kind of jump into the promotional aspect of things, because as I've been listening to the song over the last several days, just kind of prepping for this interview and this conversation, have you thought, and now obviously TikTok right now is a very polarizing and interesting conversation in and of itself.
Yeah.
I feel like this song would just be perfect for TikTok, like whether it's figuring out a way to do like a TikTok challenge or a trend or whatever you want to call it. I think that's probably something that needs to get figured out, because I think this song would just work on so many levels on TikTok.
I mean, I have just recently started putting it on TikTok. I didn't do too much like pre-release posts, but I just started. I'm getting a little bit of a reaction. Nothing crazy yet, as I just started. But yeah, I'm gonna deep dive in that. I think that's a great idea, and it's something I need to do. I gotta add it to my list.
Yep. And that's what I'm good at. I'm good at throwing out ideas, and it's like, okay, just add it to the list of 100
add it to the list
of 100 other things, and
get her done.
Right. But no, it's such a beautiful song, and I know it comes from a bad experience and a hard place, but thank you for sharing the story and the song.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So kind of moving forward, I'm excited to see the music video. I'm just a fan of independent music videos. Like that's just like, I get so much joy out of watching independent artists release music videos that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we can pull it off. I think we're going to be able to, but yeah, so it'll be exciting.
That's amazing. So obviously this has probably taken up a lot of your time, as being an independent musician does. What have you been doing recently outside of music?
What I've been doing outside of music? Well, I have 2 one-year-old dogs. So we have been going through a lot with them. I've just been, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of engulfed right now with like music and the business, because I also own and operate a business dedicated to artist services and all that kind of stuff. So I've been deep diving into movies, and I've been deep diving into dog walking. I've been walking my dogs, going to the dog park.
Nice.
So nothing that exciting. I'm going to be honest with you. I had the holidays, which was really fun. I went back to New York, which is where I'm from. And then ever since, I'm not going to lie, I don't like going out in the cold. So like I will find a series and binge watch.
Nice. What have you been watching recently?
Okay, well, I tend to go back to shows. Like I'll watch a series 3 times. I don't know if I'm the only person that does that, but right now I went back to watching Shameless. I also watched Handmaid's Tale for the 3rd time.
Wow.
And then before that, I watched The Sopranos, like all of December.
Nice. I love it. During the summer months, what I'll do is I'll go through, and it's getting harder and harder to do because they're on like their 27th season already.
Oh gosh, what is it?
Law and Order SVU.
Oh gosh, my mom loves Law and Order. And when I was home, I was watching it with her, and I was like, at first I was like, and then I was like, this is interesting.
Right. It's like, it's getting to the point now where I think they're kind of getting to the point where it's going to wrap up here soon, because like once you hit 30 years
What else
And
do you have to talk about? Like, what else?
yeah, I get it. I 100% get it. But it's just one of those deals where I don't know. There's so many seasons in there that are just so good, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'll just kind of watch the entire series, and then the new series will come out, and it'll be like, okay, cool. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
but it's getting harder and harder because I want to say there's like 400 or 500 episodes at this point, and it's like,
That's insane.
yeah. So I just kind of turn it on when I'm sitting at the house with nothing to do, and then I just kind of like let it run in the background. So
Same.
yeah.
Same. Sometimes I'm like really intense in it, and then I'm like other times it's just noise.
Yeah, for sure. So where are you kind of at show wise right now? Are you pulling back a little bit during these? I
Oh,
don't know,
my shows?
Yeah,
Sorry,
your
I
show.
thought we were
Right.
talking about TV. I'm sorry.
Nope, your shows, your live shows. Buff.
Wait, were you talking about me? Wait, my shows before?
No, no,
And
no,
I thought you
no,
were talking
no.
about TV.
Nope. I was 100% talking about TV. I just
Okay.
did a complete 180 on
Okay.
you. And
I thought it
so,
was like, wow, Jess, you're losing your mind. Okay.
nope, you're 100% on track.
Okay, good. Gotta reel me in sometimes. So my shows, yeah, I've been taking a little bit of a break, just because we had the holidays and I wanted to focus on the release of this song. We're doing like a couple radio spots, some interviews like that. I don't have any big shows booked yet. I know that's on the horizon. I've been in talks, but nothing just yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but anytime I do have a show, it's going to be on my website. So if anyone wants to
Awesome.
come see me.
Awesome. I will hopefully be able to get to see a show when I'm out in Nashville.
That's right.
Yes.
Actually, there might be a show by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm really excited about this because this year I'm like making a concerted effort to like actually do things when I'm in Nashville. Like I go there and I run myself into the ground doing podcasts and all this stuff. Like every time I go to Nashville, it's for CMA Fest, CRS, all these different events. And it's like, okay, I spend all day doing media and then I get home or get back to the hotel and it's like, I'm too tired to do anything. Like this is just too much. And this year or this time around, it's like, okay, I'm going to make an effort
to go and have fun and go see it. Yeah.
My friend's playing the Bluebird, I think on like Wednesday. So it's like
Great venue.
That's a venue I need to go check out. It's on the bucket list.
Legendary. Yeah.
So the fact that one of my friends is playing, it's like, okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Who's your friend?
Sarah Harrelson.
Okay, I'll have to check her out.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like I used to go to shows just kind of randomly back in like when I first started doing live and amplified because it was like I knew the venue owner or I knew the people working and I just randomly show up to shows. But now it's just kind of like
yeah,
I kind of want to know the musician I'm going to see. So
I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or at least heard of them. Like when it's a straight up cold call going in, it's like I don't know who's playing. Like
yeah.
So which is probably not a bad or not a good habit to have.
It's not a bad habit if you live in Nashville because no matter where you go, like everyone's amazing. So
yeah.
Truthfully.
But, it's one of those things where it's just like I go through phases of like, yeah, let's go do this. No, I'm good. I'm going to stay home. So
yeah.
But awesome. So if anybody wants to check out your new song, anything else coming up, where's the best place to find you?
Well, the best place to find me is on my website at jantonette.com. J stands for Jess. But you can find everything from new music to my socials to my bio, everything there. And then other than that, social media, they can find me. They can find me through you.
Yes. 100%. We'll have the link to everything in the description below. Real for me. Actually, we'll probably just do your Spotify page in general and let people kind of listen to all your music.
Please.
I've had better results doing that because some people get mad at me of like, oh, why are you only posting one song? Like, I want to hear all her songs. So it's like,
okay.
Well, you can just hit her name and all the songs pop up. But okay.
Yeah, they just want it fed to them. So
right. 100%. So, but once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you everybody for tuning in and we'll catch you all later.
Bye guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.